Hey, welcome friends. Welcome to Aman Bedi Astrology and ruketu, of course. Hello, Bhaiya. How are
Pranam,
you? Pranam, Bhaiya. कैसे हैं आप? How
Lord,
are you?
Lord's grace, everything is His blessings. How are you? How
I'm
is
good.
everything your side?
I'm good. I'm good, Bhaiya. It's been a while that we have spoken. The last recording which we did was in last year. So finally now Sun is in Aries. I can say Happy New Year to you.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too and everybody.
जी, Bhaiya. So again, every time we try, whenever we get the opportunity, I know we don't make frequent videos, but whenever we get the opportunity, we always try our best to give out something new, interesting, and which is also missing from the different parts, which we already covered in the past. So we are today, I really wanted to learn. We all want to learn from you. There is a topic called Atmakarak, Atmakaraka. So when we say Atmakarak, or when we say we have particular planet in Atmakarak, what is the significance of that? How important is to learn more about the Atmakarak, and what is Atmakarak? When we say that we have certain planet in Atmakarak, what is Atmakarak? I know it is a Gemini concept, but
No,
it
no,
is
no,
very
no. It's not a Gemini concept at all.
okay.
It is a concept of Vedic astrology.
Right.
But somewhere down the lane, I feel it is just my opinion
Jay.
that it is being not put across properly.
Right. 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 Right.
Atma meaning the soul,
Right.
Karka meaning the representative of the soul.
Right.
In the horoscope, when we see the birth chart, when we see the Vedic chart, it is one of the very important point in a horoscope.
Right.
You have often heard from me that I am more interested in the journey of the soul.
Absolutely.
In the chart, from where the soul is coming, what are the karmas, how the soul is going to fare here, what is his learning, what is his past learning, what is his carrying, what is his going to take forward from here.
Right.
Atmakarak becomes very, very important in this journey.
Right.
The true Atmakarak is Surya.
Suryadev. Yes.
It represents the soul.
Jay.
The second thing, what actually represents the movement of the soul is the moon, the mind, or the way the Shastras call it, man.
One.
English dictionary does not have a exact word for
For
man.
man. Jay.
Man is your subtle brain, which is somewhat in your control, but not in your control.
Jay. Jay.
And the masters teach us that this is the only thing that you need to control.
Right.
To get the proper alignment of soul, to understand the journey of the soul, because moon is the representative of me.
Right.
What is me? What do I think? How I behave? That physical representation is moon.
Jay.
But
And
that
we often get confused when you have mentioned about man. We say it dil ki baat. So it's absolutely right. We always get confused with that word.
yes, I mean you can say it is the combination of your heart, your intellect, your mind, your emotions,
Jay.
and it is that part of the emotions which you try to control but you cannot control.
Control.
It is just like an example, a student is studying, but his friends are playing outside and parents are scolding him that you have to finish your work, and his man is there with friends.
Friends.
But he's trying his level best to put his mind into studies, but he's not able to do it because somewhere the heart, the emotions, the uncontrolled part is there.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Atmakarak,
Jay.
the first representative of Atma
Surya.
or the soul is Surya.
Jay.
How it converts is through moon.
Right.
Now, what exactly is Atmakarak? Atmakarak is the planet that has traversed or moved farthest from your degree of ascent.
Right. Right.
In a way, technically speaking, it is a planet which is not affecting your lagna.
Not affecting your lagna. Okay.
Not affecting your lagna. Because let's say the lagna is 3 degrees.
Right.
And the planet that has traversed the most degrees
Yeah.
is, let's say,
20 degree
Surya,
or 25 degrees. Yes.
or 27 degrees.
Ji.
Now it is not that. The other planet may be 26 degrees,
Ji.
53 degrees.
Ji.
But Shastra describes it as the planet that has traversed or moved away from the degree of your ascendant the farthest.
Farthest. Yeah. The highest degree. Okay.
Okay. So it is just like that I am sitting in the shade and it is very cold, but
Ji.
sunlight is not reaching. The degree of the planet has to be the farthest.
Farthest.
Why we call it Atmakarak? Because for that particular planet, the karmas need to be done are on the highest possible level.
Yeah. If I may, so when you focus more on karmas, can we also say, I know a lot of people will get confused with this statement, because when we call about Atmakarak, we all also have in mind the pending desires, which is coming in the Atmakarak. Suppose if someone has Sun as an Atmakarak or Saturn as an Atmakarak, so is it just the
Aman,
karmas or the pending desires also coming
Aman,
in that planet?
I would put it the way whatever little I understand.
Ji.
I would put it not as the pending karmas. Oh, I would rather put it that the karmas for that particular planet have not been done according
Done.
to what they should have been done.
Done. Yes. Ji.
So we will not put it as pending. We will put it as something that was blatantly or knowingly
Not done.
not done.
Not done.
I had to do for my parents. I did not do.
Right. Right.
That planet becomes your Atmakarak, meaning one of the purpose of the soul for this birth and the journey is that the points represented by or whatever the planet represents in totality. By
Ji.
totality, I mean it is not only the planet. Let's say it is Surya. So
Ji.
Surya may represent 4, 5 different, 10 different things.
Ji.
But its actual presentation is also more important.
Ji.
What sign it holds,
Ji.
what house it holds,
Ji.
what houses and planets it is connected to. It
Ji.
is a collective combination. You cannot just pinpoint that, let's say, Surya has traversed the most degree and Surya is my Atmakarak, so I need to do it for my father.
Right. Now, I
It
know
doesn't.
it is a very broad.
Yes. Collective Surya representation, including the Navamsa, because whenever we talk about the Atmakarak, Navamsa chart
Is very
holds
important.
precedence.
Ji.
Because my karmas are not done totally until I die.
Right. Right.
But what I have done in the past is more important, the way the planet becomes the Atma.
Atmaka. Hmm.
It has got to do more with the karmas that I intentionally or knowingly did not fulfill. That representation of the planet traverses or moves the farthest.
Right.
It affects me less.
Now this sounds very logical. Very logical.
I have to move out of my way to do it.
Right.
The planet will not push me to do it.
Right.
Because my karmas are unfulfilled. It is connected less to. It says, fine, your soul did not understand it. Let's see if it understands in this part.
So it holds a very important thing in the birth chart there.
Yes, particularly when we talk about the journey of the soul.
So
now, what exactly happens if a planet is not touching me? It is not affecting me too much.
So when you are saying not touching me, you are referring to again the
The
Lagnesh?
degree of the ascendant, the closeness to the more close the planet degree to my ascendant, my moon, my sun, they affect me more.
But Bhaiya, some of the students might get, again, they might get a query right away within the segment. What if my Atmakarak is sitting with the Lagnesh Lord or in the Lagna?
I told you, wherever it is sitting, it will be millions of miles away from it, because the degree,
Right. Yeah, degree wise. Yes.
the
Yes.
degree it has traversed the most. So let's say your ascendant lord is 20 degrees,
Yeah.
but that planet is 29 degrees.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
From the degree of the ascendant, whatever moves the farthest,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
that is your Atma. We'll come to that
Jay.
subsequently.
Jay.
But first, we need to focus on how to get hold of this Atmaka.
Atmakarak.
Now, what happens is, to understand this degree, the concept of degree, I take a small example.
Jay, please.
Let us say your degree of ascendant is 3 degrees.
Okay.
And you have a planet sitting in the 7th house directly opposite to it,
Jay.
which is, let's say, 20 degrees.
Jay.
Now, Shastra says anything beyond 8 to 13 degrees, depending on the orb of the planet, may not affect
That much. Yeah. Jay.
one entire nakshatra. If it flows,
Jay. Jay. It is gone. Yeah.
it does not affect much,
Jay.
depending on the orb of the planet. If it is Jupiter, then definitely even 10-12 degrees it starts affecting you. If it is a small planet, it affects you less. The orb is less.
Okay.
Same thing, why we take combustion of Mercury different than other planets, because Mercury is closer to Sun. The combustion we take about 6 to 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Maybe at times less, depending on the strength of the planet, strength of Mercury.
Yeah.
But for other planets, we generally take the orb as well.
Right.
Same thing with the ascendant. Now, if the degree of ascendant is, let's say, 3 degrees here, and I have a planet placed in any of the house,
Okay.
any of the house,
Okay.
irrespective of the fact that it is not touching the ascendant,
Okay.
meaning the aspect is also not there,
Okay.
still you will find that the cosmic alignment
Jay.
would definitely touch your ascendant.
Okay.
It is something not there in modern astrology, but it is something very deeply studied in Vedic astrology.
Now, this is something really new. I am also hearing it. That is why I wanted to do this segment with you here.
So next time when you see a chart and you see that Lagan is 3 degrees, Mars is 3 degrees, Mars is placed anywhere in the horoscope, you will find that the person has the traits of Mars, even if it is not expecting the Lagna, not expecting the moon.
Okay.
You will find that the built-up of the planet has its mark in the body.
Okay.
It could be in the way of strength, it could be in the way of speaking, it could be in the way of eating, but there would be representation of that. From here, the concept of Atmakarak rises.
Mm-hmm.
The planet moving farthest from your degree of ascendant, you have to see that planet vis-a-vis your sun, vis-a-vis your moon, vis-a-vis the journey of the soul, vis-a-vis the namams.
So Bhaiya, let's, because many of the audience will be very much interested in their own Atmakarak. So let's start, if you don't mind. If someone has Atmakarak as Surya Dev as Atmakarak, like who is the natural significator of the soul. So regardless of sign, regardless of the house, wherever it is sitting in, because it is very hard to cover each houses and every sign.
No, sorry. In this, I would like to say that I'll give you an example. People will understand in totality, because here, whatever sun represents, it is the representation and becomes the duty of the Atmakarak to be fulfilled. But here, the environment of the planet is
Very important.
equally important as the planet.
Right.
So let's say, taking an example like Surya.
Yes.
Surya in the third house or Sun in the third house.
Okay.
Sun represents courage.
Ji.
Sun represents elders.
Ji.
Sun represents knowledge. Sun represents father.
Ego.
Sun represents soul.
Ji.
Sun represents lineage, your forefathers.
Ji.
Sun represents wisdom.
Ji.
All this is to be taken care of, including the third house now, the younger co-borns.
Right.
The relationship with the younger co-borns has to be cordial.
Right. Right.
No matter even if they treat you bad.
Bad. Yeah.
You have to do your duty because your Atmakarak is placed there.
Very important point.
Same thing happens if the planet, let's say it is Jupiter. Why I'm changing it? Because it does not have that aspect.
Ji.
Now, from this third house, this Surya would be looking at the ninth house.
Ji.
The
Yes.
ninth house again is forefathers.
Ji.
So some legacy towards the forefathers is pending.
Right.
Ninth house is religion, not religion that we are born with. Religion of the Vedas, religion of the humanity.
Right.
Duties towards
Your
other
religion.
souls. That is religion, the Vedic religion. Not if I am born as a Christian, not as a Hindu, not as a Sikh, not that.
Right.
The religious duty meaning my duty towards other souls that I am born with, the group of souls that are connected to.
Ji.
Now comes Jupiter. Now the aspect part is also important. For every planet, the seventh aspect holds the maximum importance. So in Atmakaraka, the seventh aspect is also treated with same significance as the placement of the planet.
Ji. Ji.
Now from the third house, it is again going to aspect the ninth house.
Ji.
So Jupiter's aspect on the seventh is the thumb rule that it becomes very, very important.
Ji.
Now the third and ninth house aspect are also become equally significant, not as strong as the seventh, but they equally represent. From the third house, it is going to aspect the seventh house, if I am not mistaken.
Right. Right.
The married partner also becomes important if Jupiter is the Atmakarak sitting in the third house. People at large, public also becomes that.
Right.
That is why I said, if we take this only as a planet, you will not understand. But we have to take the entire component of whatever it forms.
Right.
I like to put it as its environment. The entire environment.
Ji.
Take, for example, this Jupiter now placed in the sixth house, becoming the Atmaka.
Okay.
Then health becomes important.
Daily routines become the important. Yeah. 6 hours.
You have to be very, very disciplined person. Everything should be clockwork for you. If it is 9 o'clock breakfast, meaning 9 o'clock breakfast. If you want to keep your health comfortable,
right,
and do not want to get a disease-oriented body,
right,
one after the other, some problem. Stomach becomes one of the most important factors.
6th house. Yes, gut. Bilkul.
your enemies become very important.
Right.
Try not to have enemies. Try to have more friends.
Right.
If the same thing comes in the 11th house, Jupiter has got certain significance, we know. But here the house, the
Plays a
sign,
role.
even the nakshatra. I talk very less about the nakshatra because I feel that we have not reached the stage.
Ji, ji, ji.
But here, I would like to pinpoint that the nakshatra also becomes important. Because the Atmakarak is pointing to certain things, the entire environment. It is not made up. Like people generally call me and ask me, even when I'm talking to students also, what is the purpose of my soul? There is no one purpose of your soul. It could be tens, it could be hundreds. We do a lot of karmas every day, knowingly and unknowingly.
Okay.
We hurt people, we help people. We get blessings, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we rub to the bad side of their shoulder. All this forms the total karmas.
Right.
Atmakarak becomes one of the important planets in the entire series to pinpoint about the journey of the soul and what is to be done in this birth.
Right.
Be very cautious about the planets that have moved away from the degree of the ascent.
This is the most logical way. It is making more sense to me. And but again, I have many questions coming up right
Yes,
away.
you should.
So first of all, when you say it is not affecting the lagna degreecally because it is the farthest, that makes sense. That part makes a lot of sense to me now. But again, taking not sun, you have given an example of Jupiter. What if the Jupiter is the Atmakarak? Now it is a retrograde. Then what happens? Then what kind of a result I can expect from the same Jupiter, which is retrograde now? Because many of students like me will have the same question to you.
My master taught me certain rules about Vedic astrology.
Ji.
And the way they have taught me is that Vedic astrology is based on certain thumb rules.
Ji.
These thumb rules don't change. They will never change
Ji.
under any circumstance.
Ji.
A retrograde planet represents unfulfilled purpose from past birth.
Ji.
And if it becomes the Atmaka,
Correct. Ji.
then, my dear friends, you did not do it even in last birth. You should be spanked and you should be punished because you wasted one entire life not doing things for that particular plan. You have been given a golden gate. Aman, it is very unfortunate that people don't follow Vedic astrology.
Ji.
One glance at the planet or the birth chart one can tell the parents that grow him up or nurture him or her in such a way that it gets drilled into their head
Ji, bilkul.
that you have to do these things for these particular souls or relatives, or your way of life should be this.
Ji.
You see, what is Vedic astrology? It is the science to the way of life.
Absolutely. Bilkul.
It is not about knowing the future. I mean, people will learn, people will predict. Slowly, they will be perfect in their predictions.
Ji.
But what is more important is, can you help somebody understand the journey of a soul, the karmas?
It is most important to me.
It is most important. So if somebody comes to me and I see that, it is a retrograde planet, that to an outer orb meaning Saturn, Jupiter.
Jupiter.
And I, in a very subtle manner, tell the person, that these are the relatives, these are the things, these are the people.
You have to
And in
mark
my
it.
experience, 90% of them are not in good talking terms.
With the same relatives you are referring to. Yeah, Ji, that happens.
Most of them tell me, sir, I can do whatever you say,
ये नहीं होगा.
but please don't tell me this. I feel sorry for the soul. How many births you need to waste to understand certain simple things that people do not come into our lives
Just like
until
that.
and unless we have a give and take relationship from them from our past life.
100%.
And the ones that have most to do with our karmas are the one in our bloodline. I owe the most karmas to the soul. She becomes my mother. Principally, from whom I am taken the most becomes my father.
Vaheguru. Yeah.
The one who's supposed to take care of me becomes my elders.
Absolutely.
The one who has to take from me the most becomes my loved ones, my children, my husband, my wife, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my close, for which I will do for my own family. I will go against everything and do for them. It is required. There is a reason why the father is the father and not the mother. There is a reason why the mother is the mother and not the brother.
Absolutely.
During the Vedic times, it was difficult to explain this to everybody. So they made it a thumb rule that this is religion. Please
Follow.
take care of your father. And the biggest example was when Lord Ram was told by Dashratha, his father himself, that you have to abdicate the throne. You will not become the king and you will go.
Okay.
And we've been taught in Hinduism right from start that pran jaye par vachan na jaye. You cannot break a promise, because the moment you promise, that is written in 7 heavens. And it is written in the Shastras. The sankalp should be given by a lot of thinking. You cannot just say, I swear upon God, this is truth. You will suffer your entire life the moment you swear.
Right.
So the Bible prohibits you.
Right.
Why? Because the system is the same. Only the words are different. Only the projection is different. Only the language is different. Here also the Vedas or the Shastras are saying, if you swear by it, live by your life. And the beautiful Hindu Vedic way has 7 vachan or 7 promises that the husband and wife give each other.
Yeah.
That is why I said the most sacred, I personally feel, maybe I am wrong, whatever little knowledge I have. So I say it personally. In the Sikhs, you go there. They do it we do it across a fire.
Yeah.
They do it across the Granth Sahib,
Ji.
the holy book,
Yeah.
Shri Guru Granth Sahib,
Yeah.
the most holy book for them. They do it, but their sankalp or their promises are less than number 7.
Yeah. 4.
And those 4 are so important on the earthly level and on the cosmic level.
Absolutely.
With time, even gods had become little easy on us. During the Vedic times, people used to live for hundreds and hundreds of years. The karma span was big. You had the time to take care of your karmas. But now in Kali Yuga, the average life is quite less. You have to do more in less number of years.
Yeah.
That is why the Vedic representation now holds more importance. So somebody who has a chart in which a retrograde planet becomes the Atmakarak,
Atmaka.
please sit down with yourself. See what all it represents.
And the aspects which you mentioned earlier.
Yes, all the aspects. Go by it. Even if the other person is not doing anything for you, don't worry. It is not his duty or her duty. It is your soul's duty to do for them. They have been absolved, cleared of the karmas towards you. You have not. Why anyone should be born under the retrograde planet? Because my purpose has not been fulfilled. I left in between. So for the Atmakarak, intentionally I left, intentionally knowing that I have to do for that soul, I did not.
Yeah. Retrograde.
And on top of that, it is retrograde. So you have a square root of everything.
We have one more question as a student of Jyotish. We covered the Atmakarak. We covered it's been retrograde. What if it is also debilited now?
Don't worry about debilitation and exaltation.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Exaltation and debilitation has to do more with the soul, the journey of the soul.
Okay.
Okay. An exalted Surya represents an elevated soul.
Right. Right.
It is not that they're gods. We should not consider today that, okay, I am born from 15th of April to 15th of May. Instead of my picture should be everywhere. By exaltation of the Surya, it is meant that the journey of the soul is on the proper terms. Please do not corrupt it in this birth. It has taken you a lot of births
To have that combination.
to get to this point where sun is exalted. The second is when the sun is in Uttarayan, coming into the Capricorn,
Capricorn. Yeah.
where you have all the major festivals.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful positions. Uttarayan meaning going towards prosperity.
Absolutely.
Exaltation meaning reaching the prosperity. So we celebrate the souls born in Uttarayan because we know that, okay, now their purpose is ascending.
Yeah.
We celebrate it. From henceforth, the festivals come, the seasons of harvest. There are a lot of good things happening. Internally also a lot of good things are happening.
Yeah.
So we celebrate the souls born sun in Capricorn.
Yeah. Makar Sankranti. Yeah.
Makar
Bhaiya,
Sankranti.
what if coming from sun, what if someone has moon as their Atmakarak now, which is already very important? Then what?
Man ki Shakti. That is most important.
The power.
You have to live your life by your head and not by your heart.
Okay. Okay.
Mother, emotions,
More
money,
compassionate. Ji.
money, education, liquid, health, food, rice, or any and every way you are connected to these.
Ji, recently, Bhaiya, what happened? I got one chart. Whatever the advice you have given me right now, somehow I was telling him the same thing. He had moon as a Atmakarak in the 6th house. And that exactly I told him. Do seva of your mother. Do not waste water.
Absolute.
Yeah, this
Absolute.
is okay.
Absolute. This is what is real representation of Vedic astrology. You do not let yourself be swayed by emotions. Be dutiful.
Yeah.
Be honest. Moon is chanchal, it's changeable, mutable. Be fixed, be right in your ideas.
Right.
Don't be under the influence of people or situations.
Ji, bilkul.
You see, having moon as a Atmakarak is not something very good.
Okay.
Meaning you've done something not so right to your mother.
जी.
There is a very beautiful shloka. The loose translation is that if I am absorbed of my past life karmas, my life in my this birth would be very ordinary and totally painless. By ordinary, I mean I'll be a very, very ordinary citizen, nobody knowing me, nobody knowing. I will have a very, very simple life.
जी.
I'll be a contented soul.
Right.
If your karmas are right. All these representation about becoming famous, becoming rich, becoming this, you have still not lived earth. You have craving for earth. Name, fame, honor, money, connections,
मैं
gold.
मैं
Yeah. And you find an ordinary person on the street, just very ordinary person moving in very simple clothes, and you talk to him and he says, whatever God has given, I am contented. So understand that this man, this soul, this human, he has been here quite many times. He knows that this is mithya. He knows that this is a mirage. I have come here to do only my duties and to elevate and understand God, the Param Atma. In the Vedic literature, we do not call it Paramatma. We do not call it God. We call it Paramatma, the most liberated soul. Because I am part of the Paramatma. I also have an Atma. That is the Ansh or the part of that. My soul is part of God. But he is the Paramatma, and I have to reach to a very higher level. That is why there are not one heaven, there are 7 heavens. And you have 7 chakras, and you have 7 planets. So in each birth you try to live almost all of them. But for some you do more, for some you do less. For some the debt is more, for some the debt is less. Lucky are those souls for which there is no debt. And they are the most ordinary people. That is why in our culture, we have to touch the feet of every elder that we see. Because we never know when we may find a liberated soul, and that soul may bless us. That okay,
absolutely.
Kalyano, you also get liberated. Hinduism is not a religion. It is a scientific way of life.
Right. Yes.
Now, what if Mercury becomes your Atmakarak?
जी.
That times, apart from everything else, the maternal side and paternal side of the family become important.
Right. Right.
Fathers, brothers and sisters, mothers, brothers and sisters.
Sisters. Yes. The maternal. Yes. 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 That also I have seen. Yes. Big time.
That becomes important. Because for every planet, we know the relatives.
जी.
We know generally what it represents.
Absolutely.
But here, since the environment in totality is important, so there other relative representations also become important, the secondary representations. So Mercury represents intellect. We all know that.
जी.
It represents environment. It represents clean air.
जी. Communication.
Communication. All these things are known. But the relatives from my mother's side, relatives from my father's side, my uncles, my maternals.
It's funny, Bhaiya,
I
you
have
have mentioned
difficulty.
this because what I have seen when you said na ki extended family, they should be focused more on. What I have seen, they will somehow have a glitch or arguments with the same family members. So it was very interesting you mentioned this point. Very interesting.
It is imperative. It is very, very important to understand. Even if the glitch is there, I cannot afford it.
I have to
It
do
is
it.
my soul. Even if you abuse me, I will not abuse you back. Even if you say bad things to me, I will quietly fold my hands because I know my journey. I know my journey.
Bhaiya, what if someone has Mars as their Atmakarak?
Control your anger.
Angry young man.
He, at times, you'll be surprised, he or she may not be that angry. At times, it's the reverse also. They need to have that fire in them. So both the extremes are bad here.
Right, right,
If you are gutless,
right.
then it's bad.
Bad. Yeah.
If you are too aggressive, then too it's bad. So Mars can go to both extents. You may be too soft.
Yeah,
You may
that
be
is also
too
not good.
That is also not good. I have seen this happening. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I have seen this happening, especially in the girls' chart.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are put into the situation where they accept everything and they cry, but then they have to come out of it strongly and face it and fight for their right.
Right.
Generally, this happens after marriage. Mars is representation on the extremes level.
Yeah.
So please, when it comes to Mars, see and talk to yourself whether I am too weak, meek, or too emotional, then I have to come out of it.
Yeah.
If I am overly aggressive,
Yeah. Yeah.
then
Aggression
also
is
I
a
have
big
to.
key. Yeah.
Yes. This generally happens. What I take it with an example. What really happens is, let's say my Mars is 27 degrees.
Yeah.
The degree of my ascendant is, let's say, 3 degrees
Yeah.
or 2 degrees. Now the planet has traversed the most.
Yeah.
This becomes the Atmakarak.
Yeah.
And let us say Mars is placed in number 1 in
Okay.
Aries.
Okay.
And my moon is 0 degree Taurus.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. This
Yeah.
Mars is going to touch my moon because of the orb, 5 degree orb.
Yeah. Very close to the
But
moon.
the Atmakarak theory holds good because it has traversed most.
Yeah.
But here now it is affecting my my moon, my mind. So it will make me very aggressive. That is why I said
The
sometimes
environment.
Mars swings both ways.
Right.
Because here, even if the next sign, crossing the next sign, but it is 27 degrees, the other moon is just 0 degrees in the other Taurus. So it will be touching me. 27 degrees Aries will be touching 0 degree
Jay.
moon in Taurus because of the orb.
Absolutely.
Here, we have to see Mars from not the sissy angle, but from the aggressive angle.
Because of the moon.
Yes, yes. The orb of the Mars. Mars has got a 5 degree orb. So it is in 27 degrees Aries. And if you plus 5, then it reaches 2 degrees Taurus. But
Absolutely.
there 0 degree moon is placed in Taurus. So it will touch definitely. And you will become the more aggressive type.
Yeah, that's why, Bia, what I have seen when you mentioned about the ladies, even if they are working ladies in an admin sector, but they will behave like a IPS officer in the home. So it was very interesting you're mentioning and using these specific examples. So what if Bia, someone has, we already covered the Jupiter, Venus as their Atmakarak? Because I
see,
have
Shukra,
Venus as an Atmakarak.
then with Shukra, a lot of things become important. Shukra represents the gut.
Right. Yeah, the
Juices
digestive.
secreted,
Yes.
the digestive system. It represents the spouse.
Yeah.
It represents public name fame. It represents your assets in life,
Yeah.
the money,
जी.
that you have, it represents, it is the natural Marak planet.
Yeah.
These
Second
people
and seventh
have
house.
to take care of the food, the water, the relationships.
With the spouse.
They have to be taken care of. If they have a house, it should be clean and beautiful.
Ji.
Shukra representation. There should be flowers, there should be decorative items, there should be beauty, there should be scented environment because of the Shukra. Shukra does represent, if it is a male thing, it represents semen. By semen, I mean not procreation, but the diet, because the Shastra describes the best of the food in the human body, the best of the food, and from the best of the essence, the semen is made.
Right. Right.
So the
Shukranu.
quality of food, the intake would be important. They should be choosy about what they eat. It has to be fresh and best. Otherwise, the gut will have problem because their body is not designed to have
Those foods.
food that is a bit old.
That is
You know,
true.
these are very little things. But if you go back and you realize that, okay, I'm sensitive to food, I'm sensitive to certain things, the relationship I'm little touchy about, and other things, you'll find that, okay, these things do touch me. So
And
I can,
Ji. And I think,
sorry,
Bhaiya, this is the beauty of learning Jyotish Shastra, because again, you will get to know about the true purpose of your life in a collective way. So
let
lot of
me
karmas.
join this with a very small example.
Ji.
Our elders used to say, even if you are poor, keep the house clean.
Yeah, right.
Keep the house clean, neat and tidy,
Ji.
because that represents Shukra, Venus. Even if you are poor today, the vibrations that you create for Shukra or Venus will make you rich tomorrow. So the house has to be clean. Clothes are represented by Venus. Wear clean clothes always.
Yeah.
Try to keep yourself fresh. Have bath regular. Have bath with scented water, or use some kind of a cologne or
Yeah.
perfumes,
Right.
or itra,
Yeah.
whatever you like. Keep your feet clean.
Right.
Shukra is, because it gets exalted there, it's very, very important.
Right. And it will going to be exalted very soon with Jupiter.
Let's
What
see, good things should happen.
I'm pretty sure, Bhaiya, it will. Bhaiya, let's move on to Shani Maharaj. Lot of our audience will have Saturn as their Atmakarak.
Discipline, duty, discipline, duty, discipline, duty.
सेवा करते रहो.
निष्काम भाव से करो. Don't expect, just give. But when I say just give, a lot of people will misunderstand it as money or anything. No, shram. What you can do from your body, what you can do from your heart. If there is an old couple or old person living in your area, just go and sit down and talk to them. Just ask them, can I get you something? Even if it is a small loaf of bread. You don't have to pay for them.
Absolutely.
You just have to take care. Now, this rule also implies more inside the house. If you have old parents, please take care of them. If you have servants or people working under you or for you, please take care of them going out of the way. You did not do it in the last birth. It represents machine tools. It represents old machinery. Do not keep old machinery at home. Some people have this. I have seen places where having a vintage car is okay because at least you maintain it properly.
Right.
But having an old vehicle,
in their
which
in
is
their
not
home.
moving at all, which is redundant. Having old machineries, some people have old cell phones, old laptops. I don't know what they're saving them for. Old juicer mixers, old utensils, old cooking ranges, old microwaves. There's someday we might need a part out of them. Please do not keep things like this.
Right,
They will bring more negativity.
right, right.
In fact, why only Saturn? This should not be done by anybody. Even if you don't have Saturn as the Atmakarak,
Yeah,
why do you want to make Saturn weak by putting all these?
absolutely, absolutely.
People who run factories should take care of their workers, because these are the exact representation of Saturn. People who have factories and offices, and people who own them. People in the workforce, you are a senior officer somewhere and you have junior people, you should take care of.
Right.
Same thing happens if you are in the road industry and you have people building roads and buildings for you. Give them food once a month, give them something once a month, or once in 6 months, whenever you can, however your pocket allows.
Okay.
Do it for the people who work for you. Do it for the people who are helping you. Do it for them. Saturn will become strong. Old neighbors, old relatives, sick relatives,
Right. Yeah.
go to the hospital, donate something for them. Some linen, some bed, some medicine, some
Right.
water, something for them. People who are sick, people who are dying, do
Yeah.
something for them.
Yeah. So many things can be done. I absolutely got your point, Bhaiya. Bhaiya, very important question now. Do you take, in your personal experience, take Rahu as a Atmakarak? Do you take that? Do you consider Rahu ji as a Atmakarak?
Absolutely, you should consider.
Okay.
The logical explanation for it.
Please.
Scientific
I'm
explanation. Rahu and Ketu are part of my moon.
right. They are.
They are there because of the movement of Earth, Moon crossing. They are the crossroads, the points of energy.
Ji.
Now, if Surya is connected to my Atma, Moon is connected to my soul, Rahu and Ketu are definitely connected to the journey of my soul and my soul. Why we do not take it in most of the cases, or where it should be taken? If the moon is strong, and the principles that represent the moon are taken care of, no need for you to see Rahu and Ketu,
Okay.
because it's like a disciplined father has taken care of his children. Rahu and Ketu are somewhat children of moon. If the moon is weak, definitely then, Rahu Ketu need to be analyzed deeply.
Right.
Because if the children are spoiled, the parents will be taken to task.
Yeah. And this sounds very logical itself when we see it in our family. Yeah.
See, distortion I do not like about the Shastras. And this distorted view is we are to blame it for ourselves. Because why listening to somebody? Why you listen to? Why don't you go and read it yourself? Because this is easy. And with easy, true knowledge may be filtered.
Yeah. Yeah.
May be filtered. Why do you want to have half-baked knowledge? Why don't you just pick up the Shastras and start reading?
Absolutely.
I tell my students that if you want to study from me, please do not expect yourself to become astrologer. Because that is going to take you at least 5-10 years of good learning.
Right.
But if you follow these dictums, at least you will become a better human. Even if you don't become an astrologer, you will become definitely will become a better you. People read astrology to either impress or become astrologers. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, it
my
is.
general perception is.
Yeah, it is somehow a trend. Somehow a trend these days. Yeah.
So the distortion of knowledge happens because of this. Now, if you logically consider why Rahu should not be, it should not be because the father is very strong. But what if moon is weak?
Weak.
Rahu is placed with Jupiter and it becomes the Atmakarak. You have a weak moon and you have a planet spoiling the principles and wisdom of your life. You are the one who needs the guru most. You need a logical person to tell you every time that no, this should be done like this. You are the one you should be worshipping God more, not inside the house, but in the temple, so that you gain the power for analysis that what is right, what is wrong.
And these exactly are the things you have missed the last time.
You did not listen to wisdom. Now you are bereft of it. It has been taken away from you. Now you will crave for it. If somebody can guide you. But if you've done everything properly, no need to guide. I listen, sit down, talk to myself. Yes, this is it. And this is what I find in the charts of very successful people. They don't listen to us, we listen to them. Why we listen to them? Because everything here is in proper order.
Jay?
And when here is proper, then sun and moon are
Already taken care
of. You did something good for your parents, for your mother and father, and before dying they told you that I am happy because of my son or my daughter, and I bless them. And in the next birth you get a very strong sun and moon. You don't need anyone, because they have absorbed you, they have cleared you of the debt, and they have blessed you. And you did not take care of them. And you have all the problems in your life just because my decision every time is wrong. And I listen to the wrong people. And I take the wrong steps in life. If you feel you are like this, just go and take care of your parents. Just see to it that they bless you every day. Touch their feet.
Yeah.
And you won't need us, both of us. Nobody will need us.
No, I still be after you.
You will never need us ever in your life. Isn't it a wonderful thing? Nobody needs us.
Absolutely. See, this is great, Bhaiya. This segment was great. And that exactly, see, that's what we said earlier. I said it earlier that we don't make frequent videos. We don't. We are aware of it. But whenever
we are sorry for it.
Yes.
No, we are extremely sorry for it. And let me clear it. It is not this beautiful soul's fault, Aman. It is totally my fault. It is totally is my fault. So I accept it most humbly. I will try my best to come as regular as possible. But sometimes there are.
Because
God has given us other duties than this also.
Absolutely. Because many of the audience, the new audience, I think they might not be aware. You are not, this is not your profession. Am I wrong? You do something else. This is just a part-time thing or a thing you are already doing us the favor with.
No. This is not my business. This is not my work. So my work keeps me more occupied. That is why,
I know.
Because of traveling, because of other things, I get less chance to sit down. And I feel I should be at my ease when I talk to anybody.
Absolutely.
I should not have 10 different things running on my mind that this site is not working, that is
Exactly.
not doing.
Exactly. And
I
same
cannot
thing.
have-
Yeah. And same thing goes for me. This is not my full-time job.
Yes.
So
yes,
whenever
I know.
we get the opportunity, we both try our best to coordinate, because Bhaiya lives in India, I live here in Canada. We have a huge time difference also. Sometimes he's busy, but here it is in night time, so we cannot coordinate. But we ever do our best to bring something out which is more interesting and logical. And it is, Bhaiya, this segment on Atmakarak was a new learning to me as well. So it was very logical, and I hope the audience, the student of Jyotish Shastra, will find it very interesting. So thank you so much for this. And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and next time we will try our best to cover Atmakaraka with a different planet.
Yes, we'll take up all the hierarchy. We'll try to take up the different hierarchy.
Right. So thank you. Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you.